All right, we're here for an in-depth market report on the Edmonton real estate market and the Edmonton housing market, looking at the most recent statistics available. So this is the August update using the July statistics. If you checked out my last video, I went through the Realtors Association of Edmonton stats. Now we're going to use some of their same stats and just doing a deeper dive and looking at the single-family home market, the condo market, and then the market as a whole. Actually starting with the market as a whole first. Just to remind you, if you're getting value out of these types of videos, make sure to like and subscribe so that you never miss another market update video for the city of Edmonton. So let's jump right in. So looking at the total residential, so this is the market as a whole for Edmonton, you can see that we were sitting at an absorption rate of 22.11%. Which puts us pretty far into a buyer's market now. We were a lot closer to being on the cusp of a buyer's / balanced market as a whole. If you look at June, we were sitting at 31.12%, which was just over that threshold into a balanced market. It was certainly starting to feel like a buyer's market in some areas. Now, with the absorption rate slipping down to 22%, it's clearly a buyer's market pretty much across the board. And if you look at the history here over the last 13 months, again, you can see that it's relatively similar to what we had in July last year when the absorption rate was sitting at 23.9%, but it is technically a little bit worse from an absorption rate perspective. And obviously a huge change from where we were at in January, February, March, April, May. And even in June, the market has continued to slide and into more of a buyer's market. So if you look at the average price for the market as a whole in July, it was $399,242, which was down 0.83% from June of 2022, but up 2.36% from July 2021. Here's that history. You can see that we had big gains in February, and then we started losing some of it essentially in May. We lost a little bit more in July. At least in terms of average price, you always should take the average price with a grain of salt because people just buying cheaper properties will start to bring the average price down. And we are going to see more people buying cheaper properties since interest rates have gone up. So someone that might have bought a $600,000 house might only buy a $500,000 house now and other things like that. So you can't take the average price all on its own, but it is dropping. Now, if you look at the average price trend on a yearly basis for 2022, the market as a whole is still up 4.01% compared to being up 6.86% in 2021. If you would have asked me earlier in the year in February, just based on what was going on in the market at that point, I would have assumed that we would have ended up with more gains in 2022 than we did in 2021. But the market has just shifted and reversed so quickly that's turning out not to be the case. Now, if we look at active and sold listings, in July there were 6,219 active listings on the Edmonton market at the end of the month, and there was 1,375 sales. So the number of active listings is up 5.51% from June, but down 3.09% from July. So relatively similar inventory to where we were at in July of last year. And the number of sales are down 25.03% from June 2022, which you probably saw that in my last video. Definitely felt that in the market. I could tell that the market slowed down a lot in July. We were just not getting as many showings on our listings, and the number of sales just seemed to be dropping. There wasn't as many sales happening. Don't get me wrong, there's still sales happening. There were still 1,375 sales, but that's losing 25% of your volume in 1 month. This is a significant change. And you can see that that's also down from July of last year. So it's down 10.37% from July 2021. So July of 2021 was a stronger month than this July. So here you can see the balance of the market and how it's shifted. Basically, the bigger the green bar, the bigger the gap there is between the number of active listings and the number of sales. And you can see that it got the tightest in March when there was 2,384 sales and only 3,391 listings. But as you can see, the listings have continued to go up each month. There are 4,300, then 5,300, then 5,900, and now they're at 6,200. So inventory continues to go up while the sales volume is dropping. So that's how you end up with the balance of the market changing so much. And you can see in July of last year that we had more sales. We had 1,534 sales versus the 1,375 this year. But we had slightly more inventory last year. So that's what makes it relatively similar, but I would still say July of 2021 was stronger than July of 2022. Now the average days on market for the market as a whole was sitting at 40 days, which was up 14.2 2.29% compared to June 2022. And compared to last year, it's up 2.56%. So we were basically at 35 days on market in June, and it slowed down to 40 days in July. So that's 5 days. It's a bit of a change in 1 month. But July of last year, we're sitting at 39 days. So we're relatively close to last year. Now looking at the market distribution, just over 15% of the market's under 200,000, another 15% between 2 and 300,000, about 24% between 3 and 400,000, and 20.5% between 4 and 500,000. Then we've got 11.3% of the market between 5 and 600,000, and 6.36% between 6 and 700,000. After that, there's just over 3% between 7 and 800,000, and just under 2% between 8 and 900,000, and then it just goes down more from there. Now, if we look at the single family home market, we'll look at that next, but I just wanted to remind you that I can give you a good overall view of kind of what's going on in the market with these stats to let you know what you can expect in the market, but I can help you even more if you reach out to me directly. I am a licensed realtor here in Edmonton with Yeg Pro Realty, and if you're looking to buy or sell a home in Edmonton this year or next year, I definitely suggest you reach out to me and I can give you more specific advice based on your situation, what you're looking for, whether you're buying or selling, and what your financial situation is. My advice is going to vary depending on multiple different factors, and I can give you much better insights if you reach out to me directly. So you can either go to booktrevornow.com, select the time on my calendar, and I will call you, or you can just text me or call me at 780-819-5508. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so let's look at the single family home market now. So the absorption rate for the single family home market was sitting at 20.45%, which was with 3,697 listings and 756 sales in July. And again, you can see that that was a stark change from last month when we were right on the cusp of a balanced and buyer's market. We've moved substantially into the buyer's market territory. Definitely noticed that across the board in the market, like I was saying. There's not as many showings happening, there's a lot more inventory, and the sales are just not going like super quick. So buyers are having time to, really look to see and find what they want, and that they're starting to be able to negotiate again on price, which was not the case earlier this year. It's definitely a welcome change for buyers out there, but usually the buyers aren't too stoked about it anyway because their interest rate's higher now and they're paying more for their mortgage. And that's also part of what makes buyers want to negotiate, because they are hyper aware of what their costs are when it comes to buying, since those interest rates have gone up so much. So I'm seeing a lot more buyers that are wanting to negotiate or need to negotiate or just can't buy a house that's as expensive as they could before. So now they're looking to be in a lower price bracket. That's clearly hurting sales. The average price for single family homes in July was $509,519, which is technically up 1.21% from June. Wouldn't take too much into that just because, again, it depends on what's selling. But year over year, we're up 7.09% on the average price for single family homes still. So you can see that single family homes have done better as a whole than the market as a whole. So for 2022, single family homes are up 6.25% average price versus being up 7.66% from 2021. Now, if you look at the number of actives and sold listings, there was 3,697 active listings at the end of July and 756 sales. So the inventory is up 8.67% from June and up 8.48% from July. So we got more inventory than we did last month and more inventory than we did last year. And the number of sales is again down 25.44% from June, so even slightly more than the market as a whole, and down 13.6% from July 2021. And again, this is just showing you that market balance, really tight green bar there in March, and then it's just gotten wider and wider since then as our inventory rose and our sales volume dropped. So you can see last year we had less inventory for single family homes and more sales. So for the single family home market, it was stronger in July 2021 than it was in July 2022. Certainly the type of market, if you're selling, you basically just got to forget about what happened earlier this year. There's more than likely not going to be multiple offers on your property unless it is spectacular and everybody happens to want it. It's still possible to get multiple offers, but you really shouldn't be expecting that anymore. So much of the wind has been taken out of the market in terms of buyer demand. There's just not as much as there was. There's still a lot of people that want houses, but they're a lot more price conscious now. So you just got to be priced right. It's got to be attractive if you want your house to move. Otherwise, you might not even get any showings. Now, if you look at the average days on market, it was sitting at 35 days for single family homes in July, which is up 20.69% compared to June. So significant slowdown in terms of how quickly houses are selling, going from 29 days to 35 days in 1 month. And last year we were sitting at 33 days. So again, showing the market's weaker than it was last month and last year. Looking at the market distribution, you can see there's just 1.29% of the market under 200K for single family homes, about 7% between 2 and 300,000, 23.5% between 3 and 400,000, about 28% between 4 and 500,000. That's the biggest segment. So you can see that there's still a lot of activity in that $400,000 to $500,000 range, and 18% between 5 to 600,000, and just over 10% between 6 to 700,000. Then you're just over 5% between 7 to 800,000, and then from there, you're less than 3% between 8 and 9, less than 2 between 900 and a million, and same thing for the next bracket and going down from there. That's it for the single family home market. Let's take a look at the condo market real quick. You can see that the condo market, the absorption rate was sitting at 17.41%, which is right in the middle of a buyer's market, essentially. It's been a buyer's market for a long time in the condo market, except for there was a short period of time where you could maybe say in March where it was balanced, or March and April, but it wouldn't have been balanced across the board. There would have been a few pockets maybe here or there, and it might not have even felt that way. There was just a little bit of that inventory was eaten up at that time. There was a little bit more sales volume. But that situation has now changed. We're still better than we were last July, though, for the condo market. Last July, we were sitting at 14.59%, and now we're, over 17%, so it's a little bit better than it was before. Average price sitting at $224,214, which is down just under 4% from June, and down 5.62% from July. So prices are still dropping for condos, at least the average prices. And you can see that for the year, it's showing that we're actually up 2.59%, and that last year we were up 3.9%. Now, for active and sold in condos, there was 2,522 active condos for sale at the end of July, and 439 sales. So the actives are up 1.2% from last month and up 16% from last year. But the sales volume is down just over 20% from last month, and basically the same as it was last year. So this is just showing the market balance again. You can see that we're in a slightly better position than we were last year, with same number of sales but less inventory, so that makes it a little bit more favorable for sellers than it was last year, but still definitely more favorable for buyers overall. Now, the average days on market for condos is sitting at 50 days, significantly longer than what we're seeing for houses still. Stuff's selling a little bit slower than last month. We were at 47 days, and last year we were at 53 days, so it's a little bit faster than it was last July. And then for the market distribution, under 200,000 is just over 45% of the condo market is under 200,000. At least the ones that are selling. And then about 33% between 2 and 300,000, 15% between 3 and 400,000, 3.3% between 4 and 500,000, and then less than 1% for every bracket after that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for the Edmonton housing market report for August. If you want to get a copy of this report, there's a link in the description below where you can download a copy of this report. I hope you really like the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you click over here, you can subscribe, and if you click over here, you can check out another market update video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.